to Christopher Nolan movies. We're going to be ranking them. We're going to rank our top 5. Basically, this will be what we think are the best 5 Nolan movies. We'll order them, of course, in terms of quality. And then we're just going to share our list, my list, and then Nayan's list. So I'll kick things off then, should I? All right. So again, this is not my personal favorites. I am trying to be as objective as possible and just determining what is the best Nolan stuff. And this was a very hard list to do, by the way. So please, if you hear it, do not come after us in the comments. Any one of these movies being number 1, I wouldn't care too much. They're all very phenomenal in my eyes. So at 5th, I got Interstellar. A great movie. The reason why I would have it at 5th and not 1 or 2 or 3, it's a little bit convoluted at times. Just being too much of a minefield, which is kind of where Tenet falls off the cliff, where it's just too confusing.
Yeah.
Interstellar, you can get it, but it's a mission to get there. Sometimes for against its own good, but the emotions are so powerful in that movie. Visually, it's stunning. The score is amazing. There's so much to love about that movie. 4th, got The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is 4th for me, honestly. I love the movie. Heath Ledger has the best comic book performance I've ever seen, and I don't see that being taken away anytime soon, although people have come close in my opinion. I think this movie is a shining example of what's wrong with comic book movies today. The movie's filled with, perhaps not so much emotion, but really deep themes in it, about morality, good versus evil, that kind of stuff. And it plays into, all these different kind of things, and it comes together in such a extremely compelling way that resonates with me quite heavily. And I think the character writing alongside the mystery and the chaos of the main narrative going on, I think is just absolutely incredible. 3rd, this one hurts me. Inception at 3rd. Visually, like Interstellar, phenomenal. The score, I think, is just astounding. Probably my favorite score of all time. But yeah, it is one of the best scores in a Nolan movie. The acting altogether is really great. What it does with the main character, I think, is very good, considering it is a cast ensemble film. And I don't think it's not nearly as convoluted as something like Tenet or Interstellar. I think it's the right balance between, a thought-provoking script along with, a maze of mysteries that you kind of have to figure out, all that kind of stuff. And just the way they use that concept, I think is just good. And the heist, and, you got the emotion with Cillian Murphy and his dad in that movie, all kind of, it just really, really works. But I think it operates better as a technical masterpiece more than a narrative masterpiece. So 2nd, I got Dunkirk. Dunkirk is kind of the same as what I just said about Inception in terms of being a technical masterpiece, except you add on better editing. And, you got the 3 timelines there, and the way it captures those little things where you see it in the different time things that we follow, I think it builds it up into a completely powerful experience of a movie. There's not much dialogue. I think the script's really, really short, but you feel it all, and you feel the amount of like tension and horror in it. It's really brutal, and I think the movie says so much for so little words, and I think that's a really hard thing to do. And yeah, again, technical masterpiece as Nolan does. Now they all come together, I think, for my final one, Oppenheimer. I think it's his masterpiece personally. You got the kind of Nolan-esque technicals of it. A larger than life score, some insane practical visual effects and all that kind of stuff. But you also got his his concept of time woven in there through parallel timelines, all culminating together at the end. you got a really haunting message there. The dialogue it's sharp, it's really dense, but it's tightly written. The performances are amazing. Cillian Murphy might be the best performance Heath Ledger. Top 3 performance in a Nolan movie. So he gets really great stuff out of the cast. Like I said in our review, I think it just fires on all cylinders. I think that's where Nolan put his writing to the test, a true test, and I think he did a really great job. It's not just covering Oppenheimer, which it does really get into the head of the character and really, deconstructs who Oppenheimer is, but it also gives us a haunting glimpse of what our future could look like, and I think that's quite important and horrifying.
Yeah,
simultaneously in our day and age now. Yeah, what do you think of it? Oh, we'll go through and then we'll have the discussion on what we think of each other's list. So
I go first.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna eat my slice of pie.
So for me at number 5, I have Inception. Pretty much for majority, you've covered a lot of these movies, so it's gonna be quite hard to piggyback off on. But the way that the storytelling happened, the creativity and the idea, and then the cliffhanger ending, where it was like discussed about still to today. I think it is definitely one of Nolan's better performances, and pretty much everyone that was in that film, performance-wise, pretty much nailed their role.
Yeah.
And number 4, sorry, I don't have my phone in front of me. It's on charge. What was my number 4? Number 4 was Dunkirk for me. I think pretty much, it's easily one of his best edited films as well. Telling a story of 3 different stories, all in a linear fashion towards one point. It's all technical base. You got your cinematography in there and the score as well. Hans Zimmer's bombastic score is just iconic for that film. So, yep, that's a number 4. Number 3, 3 for me is The Dark Knight. Pretty much you said it best. I mean, there's a reason why it's the greatest comic book movie of all time at the moment, and it's held that since 2008. I mean, the case could be made for Across the Spider-Verse.
For now,
yeah.
The Marvels.
We'll get to that later. But like that film has everything. It's got a great script. It's got great performances. It has a great theme underlying to it. A lot backed with a great score and cinematography. It's not quite as cinematographic. It's not quite visually pleasing.
Visually appealing, yeah.
Yeah, compared to Nolan's other stuff, but there are shots in that film that is jaw dropping.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me is Memento. I think it was. What's that face?
No, nothing. I'm thinking about something else.
Sure. But the way that story played out, how it's like pretty much back to front, I think that was the first time we saw some big creativity in a Hollywood film. And I think that was where Nolan pretty much took his first little step into Hollywood, mainstream, whatnot. And forgot the guy's name, Guy Pearce. Pretty sure it's the main guy. Guy Pearce's performance in that is fantastic as well. So I definitely think it's up there in terms of one of his better films. Yeah. And a number 1, Tenet.
No.
Nah, it's Oppenheimer. I mean, it's only a weekend out already. And we're coming up to a week off seeing it. But I think as soon as we came out of it, we automatically said that it's easily Nolan's best. I mean, you've got everything, the way that the story's told. When you think the film's going to end, it keeps going. Yeah. And there's not really a boring moment in that film. You're like constantly engaged. The ending has you like thinking like, damn. Like this is so true, and like it's scary as well. Like it keeps you thinking. I feel similar to Inception. 10 years from now, we're still going to be thinking of the final scene in that film as well.
Yeah.
Then you got the visuals and the sound and everything. Cillian Murphy's performance. If there was an Oscar for this, then it'll just cement Oppenheimer as Nolan's best movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you're wrong. Obviously, because I put Oppenheimer at my top 1. Memento coming in there. Memento would be like, if I was to draw this out a little bit more, it'd probably be like 7th, maybe 6th. I'll probably have Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises above it. Yeah. I don't think it doesn't have the technical side of it that his other boys do. With that movie though, it's an independent movie. It was like brought by thing at a festival or something like that. Like they got the distribution rights for it. So it's his first step into Hollywood, but I don't think he really had the budget and perhaps not the same or the like large vision that he has now. I think it's probably the best it can be on. I think such a small budget. I think it'd be a tiny budget. I'd have to see it, but yeah, I'm surprised it made second for you.
Yeah. Do you think Dark Knight would be there?
No.
Are you surprised Interstellar's not there?
I am surprised. I know you love Interstellar. I think it's like your favorite Nolan movie. No,
Dark Knight.
Interstellar's your like third favorite movie, something like that. Jurassic Park second, Interstellar third.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So Interstellar would be second if this was favorites. Yeah.
I was thinking about it and I was like really struggling as well. And I was like pretty much tossing up between I think I was like a three-way between Dunkirk, Inception, and Interstellar. But I just think that you can't ignore the technical side of Dunkirk and Inception's pretty much screenplay and the conversation that happened after that film.
Yeah. Nah, you're absolutely right. With the Memento, we didn't know following your favorites.
For Nolan?
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be that high. It'll probably be down the low end.
Right.
If I'm being honest. Maybe, I don't know, like around by the 8th, 9th area for his films.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of why I made the face. Because I don't think you've ever talked about it before, but...
Because you said best, in my opinion, not favorites.
Yeah, I know. Favorites is your own personal bias. Best is what you think is probably the best outside of the personal bias side of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. I found that the top 5 to put in there, the movies, I found that pretty easy. And then ordering it was just a nightmare.
I had 6, and I was like there, like trying to decide what 6 I wanted to, like, what 5 to put and which one to drop. I was like, I already know the top 2 or top 3. But it was like 4 and 5.
I knew Oppenheimer would be 1 because that's kind of where everything comes together for Nolan. But then, Dunkirk, Inception, Interstellar, and The Dark Knight were just, that was so hard to order. I think anyone can make a case for at least 7 movies of Nolan's, maybe even 8, where they could be in the top 5 in any order that they want. And I don't think I'd have a big problem with it because, like, movies get to a level of such greatness that it's hard to really organize them, and it really depends on like what works for you.
Yeah.
And Nolan's just kind of mastered that the entire way.